Hi. I love this time of year, because everywhere you go, you can still hear people saying Happy New Year. Everywhere, people are jumping into their resolutions. They're talking about what they're doing. It's all over Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. The pictures, the ones people in the gym, Instagramming, all right? 2016, back in the gym, those ones. Everywhere you go, on Facebook, I was reading a post the other day. There was a guy talking about all the things he was going to do. Some people are so productive they start making you feel bad. Here comes this guy talking about all these things, long list of all the things he's gonna do this year. I'm gonna adopt some cats and feed some hungry kids and save the rainforest and cure cancer, just a whole bunch of things. And you're there looking at your list. Your one thing you gotta do: call mom more. I gotta call my mother more often. But I love the whole thing. I love the energy. I love the idea of going into this new year, this new place with a new perspective, with this intention of being better, of stretching and growing into something that you weren't before. I love that. But the interesting thing about that is that within the first 2 weeks of the new year, 95% of people who made a resolution, they've broken it. They've broken it. Now, why? Why? Why have they broken that? I've discovered something. I've discovered that it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to look at yourself, take a deep, long look at yourself, and resist the temptation to turn away. It's hard. It's hard to look at yourself and not blame somebody else. Resist that temptation to blame somebody else for what's going wrong. It's tough. It's difficult when you're looking at yourself and you're staring at yourself and you're analyzing yourself and you're seeing things about yourself that are coming up that you don't like. You're seeing things about yourself that start to scare you. It's tough. It's hard. It's hard to get to a place, do the level of work that takes you to a place where you can admit to yourself, maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the reason why I'm stuck. Maybe I'm the reason why this relationship isn't going anywhere, right? Maybe I'm the reason why I'm just stuck. I just feel like this. Maybe it's me. I was challenged once by a friend. He challenged me. We were in college and we shared an apartment together. One random evening, we're just having a conversation, nothing special, just talking. It was supposed to be one of those little chit-chat 30-minute things and head off to bed. But at some point in the conversation, the guy asked me, he said, "Do you like sushi?" And I said, "No, I don't like sushi." He said, "Yeah, I guess it's an acquired taste." He said that. So he asked me, "Why? Why don't you like sushi?" And I said, "Well, I just don't like the stuff. Where I come from, people like us, we don't eat sushi. It's a cultural thing, I guess. I don't tell you, I just don't like the stuff, He says, "Wait a second, what are you telling me? Are you telling me that you've never tried this stuff?" I said, "No, I've never tried sushi." He said, "So how do you know you don't like it?" I said, "Well, it's a cultural thing. I just don't like sushi." This guy was one of the most inquisitive and argumentative people I had met to that point. And he keeps going. So I'm telling the guy, "Listen, it's a cultural thing." And he stops and says, "Listen to me. You're telling me that at some point somebody came along, somebody you've never met, and they determined what you can eat and what you can't eat, what you can like and what you can't like. Is that what you're telling me?" And I'm telling him, "Hey, wait a second, man. What are you talking about? I'm telling you I don't like something. Leave it alone. It's a cultural thing. Leave it alone." So he keeps going. Next thing you know, we're in an argument. We're in a full-blown argument. And I'm holding on to my part, and he's holding on to his point. And I'm telling the guy, "Hey, listen, I don't have to get kicked in the face by a horse to know I don't want to get kicked in the face by a horse, to know I'm not going to like that." And we're really arguing now. And he's going back, and I'm going back, and we keep this whole thing up. And it's getting a bit ridiculous here because we're arguing over sushi, and the whole thing was just so silly. Now, if we didn't stop, we had to stop arguing, because if we didn't stop arguing, I think the friendship might not have survived the night. So we end the whole thing, and before he goes to sleep, he walked away. He had his back turned to me. He was walking to his room, and he says, "I can't believe I wasted half my night arguing with somebody who doesn't have an opinion." And he walked away, went to bed. Now, our rooms were right next to each other, so in his room, I could hear him snoring. He was sleeping, getting some good sleep, snoring. I was in my room awake because it bothered me. It bothered me that I had to have this silly argument over sushi. It bothered me that I had to, the worst part of me was brought out because of this guy who was so argumentative. It bothered me that a good friend of mine and I were going to go to sleep tonight angry at each other. It bothered me. It bothered me so much. And I started thinking, you know what? Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me. And you know what? This guy is right. He's actually right. I have no opinion. When it comes to sushi, I have no opinion because I had no experience. So the next day, I got up, I went to the sushi spot. I went and talked to the guy there. I said, "Hey, man, bring me your best stuff. All right, I want to know what this whole sushi thing is all about." All right, so he brings me the stuff, a couple of different plates, and he puts it down in front of me, and he starts walking away. I said, "Hey, wait a minute, come back here. How do you operate this thing? There's a bunch of stuff here. How do you work all this? What do you do with this? He looks at me, he's one of those funny guys. He looked at me and he says, well, I'm pretty sure you're supposed to eat this stuff. I say, yeah, okay, thank you. I'm asking you, what do you do with the thing specifically? What do you do with this sauce here? What do you dip this thing here in, And what's that thing over in the corner? It looks funny. What is that? So he took some time. He explained the whole thing to me, and I was ready. I was finally ready. I sat down there, was eating. I got about halfway through the meal, but I just didn't like this stuff. I didn't like it. I stopped, asked for the check, and I was out. But when I left there, I felt good about myself because I left there knowing without a doubt that I didn't like sushi. Why? Because I had experienced it for myself. I left there feeling good because I had just broken a pattern. All right? I was one of these people who would identify so much with somebody else's conclusions on life. And not only that, I would argue for it. All right? And I'll get myself in these different situations, kind of like the situation with my buddy here with the sushi thing, and I wouldn't know why. But I broke that pattern because I decided to go out there and get my experience for myself so I can have an opinion about something, all right? Just because you come from the same place as somebody else doesn't mean you have to carry their flag or fight their war. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. I was happy about myself because I'd broken that pattern, right? And what I urge you to do is to look at yourself, begin to examine yourself and consider the possibility that, maybe it's you, all right? Maybe it's you. All right, you're in a position right now, some people right now are in a position whereby they're at home, right? You used to be the man, you used to be the breadwinner, but the economy changed, things shifted. Right now you're at home with the kids, your lady out there is out there, she's the one working. You're at home with the kids, and you're angry and you're frustrated. Why? Because it's a new position for you. You've never been here before, right? You're frustrated, you're angry, and you're upset. And what are you doing? How long are you going to stay there angry at the situation, right? Or how long are you going to stay there bitter and actually affecting the relationship? You're thinking to yourself, this relationship is falling apart. This relationship isn't working. Maybe it's not a relationship. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's not that you're not in love anymore. Maybe it's the pressures of role reversal is killing you. So how long are you going to sit there angry at the situation? How long are you going to let that just hold you down? You see, when you can get to a point where you can admit to yourself that maybe it's me, you shift into a power place. You shift into a power position that allows you to begin to make some changes. Because once you can admit to yourself that, hey, maybe it's me, things begin to change. Right? Things begin to change. Ideas begin to come at you. Right? You can develop the kind of courage, right, to get you to a new perspective to say, you know what, I'm not where I want to be, but while I'm here, I'm going to accept where I am, and I'm going to take some responsibility to kind of get to where I want to be. I'm going to take some responsibility to prepare myself to move into the future. I can accept where I am. I can make the best of it. I don't have to make things worse because I'm not where I want to be. But I accept where I am, and I'm going to go into the future with a new plan. Right? You can do that once you admit it's you because you are now in a power position. All right? So maybe it's you. Maybe you're the reason why. All right? Maybe it's not your job. Maybe it's you. Maybe you talk too much. All right? Maybe people don't trust you at your job. Right? Maybe it's not your kids. Maybe it's you. Right? Maybe it's you. Maybe you need to upgrade your perspective and change what you expect from your kids. All right, maybe you have to stop singing the whole "Do you know what I sacrificed for you" song. Right? Maybe it's you. They don't know you, their life. You decided to bring them into this world. You decided that, not them. All right? So you have to do what it takes. Maybe it's you. All right? Maybe it's not too hard to start a company. Maybe that's not what's going on. Maybe it's you. Maybe you're scared. Maybe you're scared of failing. Maybe you're scared of what people will say if you don't make it. Or maybe you're scared of actually succeeding. Right? Maybe it's you. So you've got to begin to look at yourself, look at your situation, and be honest with yourself and do the work. It's hard sometimes to start looking at yourself and saying, I don't like that, I don't like this scares me. Who is this person? I don't recognize this person. I want to get better. Right? It's hard to do that stuff, but I guarantee you once you can begin to do that and identify that a lot of this stuff is you're doing it, things will change for you. Your 2016 can be a magical and productive year. All right, so look at yourself and begin to do that work. It's very important. A simple idea, simple realization of maybe it's me can change everything for you. All right, so I wish you the best. I wish you a productive year, a safe year. My name is Angelo, and I'm the motivator. Thank you.